Afternoon, the program director for this event. Let me greet the leadership of NSBE, led by Mdu, the president. And let me further extend to the leadership of ESCOM, led by the group CEO, Dan and Beggy and other colleagues, let alone, again, the CEO of EXA, for delivering the remarks in terms of the engineering issues that we're faced with. And also let me extend my appreciation to Ausma Pifo for later going then to deal with the relationship between the two organizations. And I think, and furthermore, let me also acknowledge the members of your organization, MDU, and even the sponsor, DBSA. One of the things that we should not celebrate do is as if we're not yet out of the current situation that we're faced with in terms of energy. And I'm cautioning that because at times we tend to celebrate quick. We are still having a long way to go. And I'll tell you why I'm saying we still have a long way to go. To date, none of us in the public gallery, we are embracing and acknowledging the role that the black excellence of black engineers they've played in bringing where we are today. I'm saying there is that silent in the public gallery. When the entire staff of ESCOM were under siege, everyone, I mean, we had a variety and various energy experts that every time they were giving an opinion, and most of them, they were wise defending and protecting their own. And today, black excellence, they are excelling in delivering energy or electricity to our people, and black people are silent. I'm raising that point is because there are lots of things that black people in this country for the past 10 years were marginalized, were dealt with badly, brutally so by the system, and we then put our heads in the sand. And it's not by sheer accident that this entity today, ESCOM, is led by black excellence. I'm saying it didn't come from heaven. It didn't come because people, they didn't put their hands together. It didn't come because black formations, they didn't meet and fight for competent black engineers to be considered for their positions, then to take and deal with the current SOE to deliver efficient and effective energy to the country. And I'm saying it didn't come because other people, they liked in certain quarters. I'm saying it came as a challenge, as a concerted effort from various organizations. I'm going to tell you one thing that, Mdu, he has his own way of doing things. When he wants certain things to be done, he will basically start by accusing you as a person to say, and I'm raising that point is because, when the group CEO of ESCOM during the tenure of Director, he basically said this horse is gone, it's finished, isn't it? And he basically said there is no need then to resuscitate this thing. We basically might just fold our arms and leave this thing to die its natural death because there is no need then to resuscitate it. Mdu then phoned me to say, "Uyamuzwa lo mlungu uthini?" I then said to Mdu, "What do you expect me to say?" He said, you are not just going to keep quiet on this thing. You need then to say something. And indeed, we started making noise. It took long. It was not an easy ride. And fast forward, the appointments of number of people then came to the fore, and again, it was not a silent and a smooth sailing. Director then left, and the appointment of Dan again, Dan, it didn't come easy, as you're aware. I mean, we went back and forth, and back. And I'll tell you why I'm telling you this story is because when finally the cabinet decided to confirm Dan as the group CEO, the person who was opposing the appointment of Dan as a group CEO went then to the media to make an announcement to say cabinet decided to appoint Dan. And it was like an amazing thing to say, why all of a sudden this person is then making an announcement? I'm raising that point is because in the absence of a concerted and focused battles that you are going to find down the road, those who will be opposing that transition later will be the one that will be glorified to say they have done a good job in the appointment of individuals, particularly the engineers, because all of us were sleeping, all of us were not on certain intervals taking the public podium and saying, this is what we are doing without fear and favor from anyone. And I'm making a clarion call to all of you that we need them to remain vigilant. We need them to remain focused in terms of embracing and supporting our black engineers so that they can then take their rightful place in turning things around in this country. That's the point that I'm making. The second part of the challenge that I guess we are faced with then now is the road ahead. People are talking about the extension of the transmission line, the 14,000 transmission lines, and black engineers, they're silent on these issues. Black engineers, they're silent, they're not saying anything. The country is talking about the integrated resource plan on the energy mix that includes nuclear. Black engineers, they're silent on these matters. We are talking about the rail infrastructure, both for passenger, which is PRASA, and Transnet, different corridors. And black engineers, they're silent on these issues. And I'm raising this point is because we tend then to deal and complain in our little silo corners in different platforms as black people. And I'm saying we need then to move out of that and then deal with these issues in the public gallery. We need to be part of the conversation. We need then to have a conversation to say, how do we deal and participate in those streams, whether we talk about the national energy crisis. In the national energy crisis, before it's included the engineers, when it started, there was no single engineer in the National Energy Crisis Committee. It's the same thing with the logistics crisis committee. I'm raising this point because there is a role that the engineers, they need them to play. When our kids, they go to school, they don't do maths and science, but we expect them then to be engineers. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We need to have a concerted effort to encourage our kids to study maths so that they can be engineers of the future. Now, the other component that we need then to look at is what I call it alignment, complementarity between various institutions. We can now then talk about academic institutions, faculty of engineering across universities. If you have black people, either there will be foreigners, because we don't have black people that they are from South Africa, that they're heading those faculties, whether it's the faculty of Stellenbosch Engineering, VETS, PE, whatever. And I'm saying that's part of the problem that we need them to look at. And I'm making that clarion call to say we cannot then talk about the integration and alignment and complementarity if those institutions, they remain to be run and controlled by people that they don't have a vested interest of this country. We need them to change that patterns of doing things from various institutions. And Finally, we need then to talk about the alignment and relationship with industries. Whether it's the industry of metal and engineering, whether it's the industry that deals with rail infrastructure or energy, there must be a synergy and complementarity between those institutions. I'm raising this point is because we cannot then talk about development and infrastructure in the country and in the continent, but we then leave majority of the people which are black, which understand what is important, the importance of transportation, the movement of people from here to Cairo, the movement from here to Mozambique to Zimbabwe. We are not going to rely on trucks and buses. We need then to have a rail system. And engineers, they have a role then to play, including even financial institutions. DBSA, as an institution that is locally or state owned by South Africans, we need them to see that complementarity in terms of funding and access to markets, where we then bring black engineers then to do meaningful things for the country, for the continent, and for the region. The last thing for me, colleagues, is around dealing with various institutions. You talk about BRICS energy work stream. We talk about the infrastructure within the BRICS, within the continent. We need then to say, where then do we plug in ESCOM? How then do we deal with that interrelation of ESCOM providing electricity in SADC and in the continent? How then do we do it with the complementarity between ESCOM and other similar institutions? Zimbabwe, they have a problem. Mozambique, they have a problem. Zambia, they have a problem. How then do we deal with that connectivity and interrelation within our region and within the continent? I'm saying that's where we need also then to look at bringing excellence and talent and enhance it within the region and the continent. And my parting remarks is that your organization need then to sharpen its pencils and then look at participation in various areas. One, we need then to see black engineers participating in the energy work stream of BRICS. We want then to see black engineers participating in NECOM, the National Energy Crisis. We need then to see black engineers participating in that forging the relationship between industries and academic institutions. And that's where your role need then to be. We are not going to talk about the extension of the rail infrastructure in the continent without the participation of your organization too. So for me, those are the parting words that I'm leaving all of you to think out of the box and then join various progressive black organizations in dealing with these issues in the public gallery so that we don't remain silent on black excellence, particularly at ESCOM. Thank you.